Well, hello, I'm Jerry McKee, and I'm doing some tests on some microphones. We had some microphone problems earlier, and I just want to make sure everything is running smoothly, that we're not having any issues. Streaming to 4 pages just to make sure it's not, and I just want to make sure that my microphones are not, is something not interfering, or was it interfering in the building? Because sometimes when you're using wireless microphones, sometimes what it'll do is it will pick up and have things happening. I've had 911 calls to come in. I've had police, CB radios, and I'm just checking just to make sure that this scratchy, the going in and out, if this was anything that was happening while we was there. I've got my, if you notice behind me, I've got one of my YouTube things here. This is the hounds that what we went to earlier. And so I want to bend over, just take a look at this right here, just to see what's going on with this. Make sure everything's going okay here. And as you can see, like I said, behind me, I've got YouTube going on my TV. You see Pastor Lemons there behind me. He's going to do the blessings of the hounds. But I just want to check and see if everything is good and clear on this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this microphone off and go get another one. So enjoy what's behind me. And you're not going to hear any sound for a couple minutes. I'm just going to do enough to switch out and make sure and eliminate some of these right here. Kyle, if you're watching, just kind of see what you hear there too. So I'll be back in just 1 second. Let me switch out this microphone.
It's interrupted.
Huh?
It's interrupted.
What is it, interrupted?
What it says.
Okay, folks, she says it was interrupted. Let me pull it up on mine. Okay. Let me see over here on the Big Mac, because hers is not, okay, let me see here. And let me go here. And let me delete this, yeah. Okay, folks, she says it was interrupted. Let me pull it up on mine. Okay. Let me see over here. Hey, Myra. Hers is not, yeah, I do see it breaking here, breaking up.
That's where it sounded like it.
See, and that's what I was testing. My wife gave me the wrong information. I need you kind of give me feedback on if you hear it breaking up on my sound. Let me go back in here and see what it's like in here again. So if this is breaking up right now, they used me to change microphones, because then I know it's going to be in the system itself or into my receiver. So that's what I'm looking at. Make sure it's breaking up. Let me know if you see it breaking up. Yeah, I see it where it's doing a little freeze up here, looks like. Behind me, it's doing a little freeze up. I'm sorry. I was looking at this. I said, what's that little wheel doing? And I forgot it's behind me. We're using it. It sounds good. But Edna, you want to come here and talk and let me listen? You're going to have to come here and talk. It's hard to be testing by yourself and nobody helps you. Kyle, were you trying to test these mics out? That's not freezing up behind you, people. That's my television freezing up. So I'm going to run me a line directly to the internet. Now what you're seeing probably behind you freezing up, that what you're seeing is, yes, that's the, that's my television freezing up actually. So what I'm doing, I'm pulling a lot of juice through here. That's not freezing up behind you, people. That's my television freezing up. So I'm going to run on the line. So be patient with me, because what is happening, we're streaming to our television, which is in the other room, and I'm running on, actually running on Wi-Fi, and running Wi-Fi and streaming to the TV, and we got all this other stuff going in there. It makes a big difference. So I'm going to try to run directly. Hey everybody, Tom Dooley. Hey Tom, Carl, Peggy, Chris. So be patient with me. Because what is happening, we're streaming to our television, which is in the room, and I'm running on, actually running on Wi-Fi, and running Wi-Fi and streaming to the TV, and we got all this other stuff going in there. It makes a big difference. So I'm going to try to run directly. Hey everybody, Tom Dooley. Hey Tom, Carl, Peggy, Chris. Be patient with me. Back away from the microphone, away from my receiver. My receiver's not picking it up. You see I need to flick on in here. So guys, I might have to, yes, it's telling me that I am, yes, I know. Okay, let's go to internet settings. Okay, connect. All right. Okay, now I've switched over to a direct line. And let's see how that goes. Let me move back a little bit here. There we go. As you can see, Steve blessing the hounds. Got a little static. So yes, I'm not really pleased the way it's going with this microphone. And if it's giving it a little bit of static, I don't want static. And that's what we had tonight. So that just tells me that I've either got a bad receiver or something's going on there. So let me make another adjustment. Let's see how that goes. Move back a little bit. There we go. As you see, Steve blessing the house. Still got a little static. Yes, I'm not really pleased the way it's going with this microphone. Okay, let me see if I can tune some of this out by doing a couple of little things here. So that doesn't work because you couldn't hear me. Now, I believe you might be able to hear me now, kind of in the background. I believe it's coming up in it, Edna. Nothing. Okay, no sound at all. Let me get my big fat Billy out of the way. Okay, let's see here and here. Okay, let's see. All right, we're going to try it right here. Okay, I just have to have it there, just making sure. And I'm going to leave it on manual here and see how it goes that way. But if it's probably still got some real static in there. And as you can see, let me pop up here where I'm at. And, oh, okay, am I in the wrong? Okay, what have I got here going on? Wait a minute, guys, I'm in the wrong thing here. Pop. Okay, let's try this again. Just again, I'm just testing things out. Just bear with me. And I think I went on someone else's page that I'm not supposed to go on to. And let's see here. Okay. Hold on a minute. Let me check something here. And okay, I think I'm in someone else's. I'm gonna have to do this. Yes, I am. I'm gonna log out. Okay. Man, I was in somebody else's page. I'm sorry about that. And let me. Okay, I'll see me live now. Let me. Make sure I don't get no echo feedback. All right, you can see the beautiful country behind me. That's where I was at doing some stuff last year. And let me make sure that this is still going correctly and you can still hear me without the static.
Yeah, it's kind of low though,
What is low?
the audio.
The audio's a little low. Okay, well, let's just,
No static.
all right. That might be because you can't hear the static. Everything's up here. It doesn't look like it should be low there. Testing 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to have to go and look and see there. Come on now. Just testing your mic. Yeah, it's a nice pack of dogs there, Tom. They were doing a like a fox hunt, but they really wasn't hunting fox. They do this every year, and it is fantastic to watch this. And there's some beautiful dogs on there. I'm going to switch microphones. I'm going to see what it's like on another microphone. So enjoy. Be right back.
Still static.
I got a bunch of tangled cords. You know, you can roll cords up and you still can't. All right, let me go back and see something here to make sure my audio is going. It looks like it is going. I guess I could have put my headphones on and see. Okay, that's one way to test it. Can you hear me now? Okay, I just want to make sure this is down here. Okay. All right, we're going to test this microphone out. This is a little handheld, little condensed mic. I hope it's not over modulating. That is one thing I want to see how it does. And hey, thank y'all guys for being patient with me here, because I got to test these things out before I go out in the field. And I'm really disappointed in the mics that I was using. They've been great. They've worked great. Then all of a sudden now I get this static stuff, and that's not good. When you're on site and you start live and things start happening, and you got a very short time to correct it. One lesson I will learn: I will take wired mics, which is wired straightly into the camera, and in case the wireless one doesn't work, when you're doing wireless on microphones, you taking a chance, and they're great to have. But when one goes bad, or the receiver goes bad, or something like that, then you start getting into trouble. So it always a hint to take a backup. Now I did have another backup wireless mic on the KC show that I let Kyle and Mike use, and you can hear them well. Everything was going good with that. It wasn't their own personal one. It's just one for them to share at that time, but it did work, and we did have a backup that way. Of course, the internet, that's another issue. Whenever you're doing something live and streaming something live, you're at the mercy of the internet. And one of those mercy things at the internet, you see things behind me going around in circles? Well, that's the TV trying to pick up again. I don't even know what's up there now. I might have to change that. Okay, look like Christmas Vacation. Kind of does. Well, I might have to see what's going on with that, because, oh yeah, and this can't be that, because these are my shows on the back, and this is probably a Christmas thing that I did for the kids that you're seeing behind me, and you'll see Santa Claus back there, and some graphics that I like doing. So what I'm doing, I'm just running my videos in the background on the TV so you can see it, and instead of just watching me. And this was done back in the Christmas time. But just like I said, just testing these out to see what it is. So I kind of know now. Thanks, Kyle. He kind of said, well, might could be your receiver, and I think that's what it is. So what I'm going to do is just kind of use what I have, and I'm going to have to just get another receiver. It's all this to it. Get one of those, and keep trying. But the key thing is, whenever you're doing anything live, is your sound. And sound, people think the video is hard. The sound is the hardest thing to capture. And you have to capture it in a way that it's going to feed through your video, where you're not going to see my mouth move, and then the sound comes like it. Remember the old karate days, when they showed the karate movement, and they would move their mouth, and then a couple seconds later, here comes the sound, what they're saying. Well, that's basically, sometimes a sound happens, it gets behind, and you got to capture all that into one, and it takes some software, it takes some things to do to get it all wrapped around together. And let me tell you, it's not easy. And for the ones that are now starting to do it at their churches and things, you're seeing now what we go through. You can do some certain things with some small things, it does okay, like your laptop or something off that. But when you start getting into your professional systems, that's when you start really having to analyze and look at each thing. The software, when we run our software, there are several things that we have to do there, is to make sure we go into the software that we build the program with. and that's putting all the lower thirds on it. That's putting animation and all this right here. Well, we build that beforehand. And then, after building that, we got to set a path. Where do we want this video to go? Do we want it to go to Facebook? We want to go to YouTube? Well, see, we got to determine that. And we have to put in a RTML stream that's going to go to another software that we purchased. And when we go to that software, we're telling that software, look, I want to go, and myself, right now, I'm streaming to both of my channels at the same time, Down Home with Jerry McKee and my personal channel. And I'm streaming to YouTube, and I'm streaming to a Russian channel over in Russia. So I'm doing all this at one time through this other software. So you got to make sure that that connects with the other software that you built, that it spreads out everywhere. And then you got to make sure that you got the right URL.
Picture's blurry.
And hey, if you see the picture blurry, I tell you what it's doing is it's picking up behind me and making me blurry. And you might see that maybe a little clearer. So that's what that's doing. So I'm not too worried about that. I know what that's doing there. And so that's another thing you got to know. You got to know your camera. What is it doing? Why is it making me blurry? Why is it doing this right here? And I know because I got a brighter light behind me, and there I go dark. See, and this thing that I know what happens. So when I'm out shooting, I know that I have to put light on me and stuff like that instead of behind me. Behind me, you'll see some things I've done for Edna and her family. But you know, a lot of different things goes on when you're going live, and Kyle can tell you this right here because we all come up with issues like it, and we got to home in, and what we're doing is we're looking at different software to make it better to keep us from having to do this. So that's just some steps that we have to go through. Is before we come on with a live show, we have to build that show, whether it be lower thirds or whatever like that, putting in the commercials or anything like that, and put it in that software. And then we got to connect that software saying, I want you to upload this live to this. And that goes to another software that's going to be able to produce all of this live streaming into one place or several places. Because if you're going directly in a certain software directly to Facebook, well, you can't go to Facebook and YouTube and stream at the same time. And some of you probably already done figured that out. So what I have done, and so has Kyle, we have got another software that we can do that with. But with that software, we have to go in, and it's got a stream key. It's got the ID identification stuff that we sign in with, a path to where it goes to, and we take and copy and paste that into the software that we're building this to. And then after getting all that done, we go back to our software that we built into to check the audio to make sure it's getting this way or that way. If you're using several cameras, you got to make sure it's either going the sound of that camera or this camera, or making it going just into one but showing the video of the other. So if it's wore you out me talking, that's what we have to go through just to bring live streaming. I'm using one camera now, and I still had to do this. So I know that. It's going through all my pictures behind me, Edna says, and that's okay. It's like Gene Walsh behind me and wrote his. But anyway, I'm going to close it out with this right here. I kind of know what I got to do on the other end. So I do have avenues that we can stream live with great quality of sound. And things do go bad, folks. Hate to tell you, when you go buy something, and no matter how expensive it is, you can have stuff to go bad. Electronics can go bad. Thank you for watching and helping me test with this. Leave a comment if you heard this or heard that, what time in the video, but wife was in there was checking everything too. So I know this one's good. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you soon.